September. He left behind an artistic legacy that included 1 platinum and 2 gold records, as well as 5 films. The murder is still unsolved, and now even that legacy is in doubt. Tonight, in an exclusive interview with Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross, Tupac Shakur's mother asks for an accounting, not only for his death, but for what she says someone is trying to steal from his life.
It's nice out here, man. The American dream, man. The American dream, thug style.
Whatever might have been said about his thug style and rough lyrics, Tupac Shakur's gangster rap music made him a huge star. And at the time of his death, he had every reason to think he had finally made it. Big houses, fancy cars, beautiful women, and lots of money.
What does a thug yearn for? Success and to be respected.
He absolutely thought he was quite rich and that his family would, be rich forever.
And for Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, who raised her son in poverty, often homeless and at times addicted to drugs, that was a huge accomplishment for the whole family.
Please remember that my great-grandmother was a slave, my grandmother was a sharecropper, my mother was a factory worker, and I was a legal worker. Do you understand? And so this represents the first time in our life, in our memory, ever, that we have been able to enjoy the American dream, and that's what Tupac brought to his family.
That something was very wrong was a discovery Afeni Shakur made as she tried to recover from the shock of her son's murder in Las Vegas last September. An unknown assailant opened fire on Tupac, execution style, as the car he was riding in, driven by Suge Knight, stopped at this intersection. Tupac lay in a coma for 6 days.
The doctor came out and said that Tupac had stopped breathing 3 times, and they had revived him 3 times, and that every time they revived him, he just went back, and I asked them to leave him alone and to let him go. I really felt it was important for Tupac, who fought so hard to have a free spirit. I felt it was important for his spirit to be allowed to be free, and so I rejoiced with him and with the release of his spirit. I rejoiced then and I rejoice now when I'm not crying.
Quick to offer her comfort was Suge Knight, who had been with Tupac in the hours before he was shot, holding himself out not only as Tupac's close business associate, but also as his best friend.
I miss somebody I had a lot of love for, and I miss him.
Suge Knight said to me when my son died that they had an agreement that whoever died first, the other one would certainly take care of their families.
Has Suge Knight?
No.
Suge Knight first signed Tupac to a recording contract when Tupac was in this New York State prison, unable to discover about all the millions her son thought he had earned.
I discovered he had next to zero, next to nothing. I discovered that the home that he had thought that he had just bought was not his.
In a good story, Afeni Shakur now wants to know whether her son Tupac was cheated out of his money by a man he had come to trust. This man, Marion Suge Knight, who owns the record company Tupac worked for, Death Row Records. In the last 6 years, Knight, a 6'3", 330-pound former bodyguard with a violent criminal record and ties to Los Angeles street gangs, has become one of the most powerful and feared men in the music business.
If I was so bad, I would have no success. I definitely do not like ugly.
We talked with Knight late last year in jail, where he was being held for alleged parole violations, which have kept him behind bars ever since. Knight has denied doing anything to cheat Tupac, and he spoke at length of a fight caught on videotape in a Las Vegas hotel just hours before Tupac was killed. The tape shows members of Tupac's entourage, including Suge Knight and members of the Blood Street Gang, kicking and punching a young Los Angeles man who is a member of the rival Crips Street Gang. He denies it. The police now consider the beating victim and 2 of his relatives suspects in the case.
We believe
If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police? Absolutely not. I mean, because, you know, I don't
Why
know.
not?
Because it's not my job. I don't get paid to solve homicides. I don't get paid to tell on people.
The gangster rap mentality that they don't want to talk to the police is definitely hurting this case.
Nor has Knight been willing to talk with Afeni Shakur and her lawyer Richard Fishbein, who went to see Knight right after Tupac's death to settle Tupac's affairs.
I kept telling Rick, well, we're just going to, you know, we'll meet with Suge.
Suge will take care of everything.
Yeah, don't worry, he's going to tell you everything. We'll meet with him first, you know, but he didn't even show up.
And now Tupac's mother says not only is her son's money missing, but more importantly, the master recordings of the some 200 songs he wrote and sang, potentially worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
We don't know where the master, we don't know where they are.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old.
One of the most revealing songs Tupac ever wrote was about his mother, Afeni, and her life as a Black Panther in the 70s when Tupac was born, and her struggles raising him amidst poverty and crack cocaine.
And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama.
Given that and the death of her son, Afeni Shakur says no one in Hollywood should try to ignore her or cheat her.
I simply feel that I have a responsibility to my son, who I carried in my womb, and that has nothing to do with Suge Knight or anyone. That only has to do with Afeni Shakur and Tupac Amaru Shakur.
You all appreciate it. Don't you know you love me, sweet? Dear mama.